everyone, my name is Giovanna Proença, and today we're going to talk about balance sheet of freeCodeCamp, the part of responsive web design. So in this project, we're going to build this balance sheet here that we're seeing, okay, where we have the assets, and here we have 2019, 2020, 2021, some things in here, liabilities, and net worth. All right, so we're going to build this like a table in here. All right, so let's just start. Here, one thing that is important to know is that if you didn't finish the other projects, remember to finish them first, because we're going to work in this project things that we already learned before, plus the CSS pseudo selectors that we're going to learn right now. Okay, so it's really important that you already have the previous knowledge to learn this here without any problem. Okay, so like we always know, we start our HTML file adding the doc type because we have to let our browser knows, well, what is the project we're working with. So here, doc type HTML. So here we're saying to our browser that we're working with HTML, and our HTML tag here, we're gonna set what is the language of our file, that it's English in this case. And inside of the HTML file, the HTML tag, we have the head and the body. The head is everything that is not visual, so the links we're gonna do with CSS and other things, and the body is everything we're gonna see in our project. So let's add in here the head, and we have the body. And then we have to close our HTML tag. Besides that, they're telling us to use this meta element for char set and viewport and a title. Okay, so we're gonna add all of these links inside of our head. How it's gonna work? Basically, we have to add the link, the title. Let's start with the title. The title will be the title of the tab. Okay, so here we're seeing learn more about CSS pseudocode, but if I put in here balance sheet and here title, where we'll be able to see here in our preview on another page, nothing is changing for some reason. Probably we can't see in here, but that's fine, all right? But it will be the name of the tab, all right? This title. And we also need to link with our styles.css, so here styles.css. Oops, well, here we're gonna say style sheet, and we're gonna say href equals to styles.css because we want to link with our styles.css in here to add the style we want, okay? And then we need this meta tag where we're going to say char set equals to UTF-8. This is something that is a standard. And for viewport. For the meta viewport, we're going to use here the W3 schools, all right? And this is really good because this meta element will tell that we want to make a responsive website. So you can copy this and we're going to add in our code, okay? So now if we check our code, we're going to pass the test. Great. Now let's go to the next part. Now for this part, we're going to create a main tag, and inside we're going to add this session. So here main, and inside we're going to add a session. Okay, great. Let's check our code. Now we pass. Great. So far, we're not seeing anything, but soon we're going to start seeing the things. Right now, we're going to add an H1 and we're going to have a spam inside. And why is that? Because in this H1, we're going to display a message, and this spam will probably create a different style for what we want to display. And one thing that I always mention in every video is we have 6 types of H1. Oops. We have 6 types of of headings. Here, I'm going to display all the headings so you can see. If I say hi in here, and I say hi for all of the other ones. Camila. So if I display here the 6 types of headings, we can see that the H1 is the most important one. All right, so here we have it's bigger than the others, and the H6 is the less important, so it's smaller than the others. So depending on the case, you're gonna have an H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, and you have to think about what you prefer. And we can add a spam to create a different style if we want. We won't be able to see right now, but in the future, they are probably gonna tell us to make a different style in here, okay? It will disappear the hi, but don't worry, we're gonna work with this right now. So now we have here, if you take a look, in our line 12, we starting the H1, we started the previous step, and we have a spam. Now they want us to give a class flex inside of this spam, and add true spam inside of this spam class. So here we're gonna add true spam, and each one of them we're gonna add a different message. So I'm gonna do Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. In the first one, we wanna add this message here, ACME Widge Corp. And in the second one, they want us to add balance sheet. Okay, and this is what we have. We're gonna start working with this tiling in a second. So now below our h1, we're gonna create a div element and we're gonna give an ID. So div ID equals to ears. Great. And we want to make this element to be hidden from our screen. So we're gonna use this area hidden equals to true. So we can use this attribute area hidden if we wanna set things in a hidden way, if we wanna make this invisible. And we're setting here to true. All right, now let's see the next step. Now we're gonna create, inside this div, we're gonna add 3 spams and we're gonna give a class ear for each spam. So here ears, ear only, not ears. Okay, and here's spam. And let me copy. And we're gonna paste, adding 3 different ears, because if you remember, in our original project, we wanna display the ear for each part to get the balance. So basically what we want to do this, 2019, 2020, and 2021, okay? And we're creating this part in here, all right? Like I said, we have the text, right? We're gonna work in the future how we're gonna put balance sheet in the top and the other part in the bottom. Right now we're just creating the HTML. Now we're gonna build a new div, okay? And we're gonna give another class that will be table wrap. And here we're gonna add we're gonna have 3 table elements, okay, that we're gonna work better with this. But basically we're gonna create this part of the table, all right? We wanna have the part of assets, liability, and net worth, if I'm not mistaken. So here we're gonna use, oops, I closed in the wrong part. So here we have a div, and we're gonna add 3 tables. So here we're gonna create the tag table 3 times. All right, so let's see. Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, and Ctrl-V. And so far, nothing is changing here, but don't worry, once we start adding content, we're gonna see. Then we have this caption, and this caption, we're gonna give a description of the table, okay? Basically, we have to use this caption, and it should be positioned with, this caption should be in our first table, and we're gonna use caption side. So here, caption is the attribute, caption element. Here, caption. And we're gonna add the message assets. Okay, so we're building this part in here. We're building this part of assets. Let's see if this works. Great, so we're seeing assets, and probably we're gonna add this caption for the other 3, but in the future. Now we're gonna start creating how the table will look like. So basically we have the table heading, and the heading is what the name of the columns, and we have the table data where we put here the data, okay? So these are the table headings, and these are the table data. Here's just a description for each table heading, okay? So basically here we're gonna add a T head, that is the table head, okay? T head, and we also need the table data, the T body, where we're gonna insert our table data. Okay, great. Since we have no content, it's not appearing anything. All right, in here we have the table row. The TR is for table row, but for specific parts of our table we use some different things. So for the table head we use TH for table head, okay, and for table data we use TD. So what is the idea? We have the TR for the row, and for each column we use TH for the heading and TD for table data. So we use in the body. So in here we're gonna have a TR for 1 row, and we're gonna have a TD and 3 THs, right? So let's do this. So here we're gonna have a TD. Let me put this way so you can visualize what is going on. And we're gonna have TH for heading. All right, great. We're not able to see, but soon we will see things here going on. So now we're gonna add a spam element with a class SR only here, okay? And we're gonna give in this particular order, all right? So here we're gonna have a class equals to SR only and space here. So this means that this class has 2 classes. We have one for SR only and another class for ear. And we're gonna add here for each TH. And here we're gonna put the number 2019, 2020, and 2021, all right? And the TH, the third TH, we're gonna add here the class current, okay? Actually here we're not gonna add in this part. I just noted that we're gonna add in our spam. So everything that I did in here, let's fix, okay? It will be in a spam. So here spam, and this, we have to close here spam. Oops, great. And we're gonna do this for all the other ones. So I'm gonna copy and paste. Now I will change here to 2020 and here to 2021. And the last, we're gonna let the TD empty, and the last TH we're gonna give a class current. So here class equals to current, okay? And this is pretty much what we have right now. Let's go to the next one. Now in our body we're gonna add 4 rows. So we're gonna use tr 4 times, and we're gonna give for the first 3 a class data and the 4th class total. So what I can understand from here, we're gonna create these 3 rows in here, cash, blah 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 blah, and here we have the total that will be our last one. Okay, so in here I'm gonna give a class equals to data, and I'm gonna copy 3 times. And for the last one, we're gonna give a class equals to total, tr. Great, this is pretty much what we have. Some things will be less complicated. Now we're gonna add some messages. So in our first tr, we're gonna add this message. We're gonna add a th inside this tr, and we're gonna give this message here. Cash, this is blah blah blah. So what I can understand, we're doing this message in here, okay? And we have to give we're gonna wrap all this text inside of cash in a spam element called description. So here we're gonna have cash, and we're gonna put this message we just got. Here, this message we just got. Cash will be alone, okay? And the other parts we're gonna put inside of a spam, and we're gonna give a class equals to description. All right, so let me fix in here some things. And here we close the spam element. And what are we doing? We're gonna have cash in the top, and as a description, we're gonna have this message, okay? Then we're gonna add 3 TDs for table data, where we're gonna add the data from our table. So we're gonna add these values here, okay? Like we can see, we have these values. We're adding these 3 values in here, okay? So I'm gonna add the value 25, and here we don't need to give any class, only for the last one. And here it's 30, here it's 28, and remember to give a class equals to current for this one, because we're working with 2021. All right, there's something, you should wrap the text in a spam element. I put this in a spam element, let me see. This is the cash we currently handle. Let me see if I put everything in the same row, they don't complain. Your TH should have the text cash. With a space. And here we have a spam. We're adding everything in a spam. Great, they just wanted everything in the same line, that's fine. It's more about styling. Now in our second row, we're gonna do the same, but we're gonna do now for this part of checking, okay? So we kind of know how we are gonna work with this part. So basically here, we need our TR again, all right? And inside this TR, we have a TH. And inside this TH, what do we want? We want checking, blah, blah, blah. But we're gonna wrap what we have after checking inside of a spam class equals to description, because we want to give the same styling that we give for the previous row, spam. Then we want a table data, right? And we're going to do exactly what we did previously. So TD, and here I'm going to put 54. I'm going to copy and paste twice. But the last TD, I have to add the class current, because it means that it's the price for 2021. And let's change the numbers. So here 56 and here 53. So there's something missing. Great. 56. So this is pretty much what we have. We're doing this second part. Now we need to do the savings, okay? And then we're gonna work with the total. Your second TR should have a TH element. Oh, it already had a TR, I'm so sorry. let me remove this TR, I didn't notice. So all of this, I'm gonna go back one indentation, and now it's correct. All right, now the third one will be exactly the same that we did in here. So I'm gonna copy and paste what we did previously, just changing for the data that we want. So here, instead of checking, it will be savings. And here, instead of our primary blah, 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 it will be this funds, blah, blah, blah. All right. Now we can change the value here, 500, 650, and the last one will be 728, okay? And things are looking pretty nice. Now we're gonna work with total, correct? So now we need to make this total part in here that we're seeing. And we don't have a description. So in here, we just need a TH, where we're gonna say total assets, but assets will be in a spam of class equals to SR only. And like we can see, we cannot see here total assets, right? Because this SR only will be something that we're gonna do for accessibility, okay? It won't be visual, but for accessibility, it will be a description for this TH, all right? And here we're gonna say assets. Then, what do we have? Here I can close the TH. And for the next one, we're gonna have a TD with the same idea. Here, 579 TD. And we're gonna copy and paste twice. But the last one, remember to give a class current because it's about 2021. And we need to change the values. All right, 736. Great. So if we send, so far it's looking this way. It's not the best tables that we have in our hands, but we're gonna work with this soon. So basically we did this first part. Okay, now we're gonna work with the liabilities. All right, so we're gonna do exactly everything we did. So we can go in here and we're gonna do this part of the caption again and the TD, TH, and T rows. All right, so let's start here with caption and we're gonna add liabilities, caption. And then we're gonna open up a T head and close it, but we're also gonna open up a T body. And like I mentioned, we're gonna do exactly the same. So we can work with the next part. All right, now we're gonna add a TR inside the T head, and we're gonna add TR, and we're gonna add 1 TD and 3 TH. Oops, so I'm gonna copy and paste this 3 times. Great, perfect. Now let's go to the next one. Now we're gonna add a TH spam. We're gonna give each TH spam element with the class SR only, all right, for the accessibility, remember, here class equals to SR only, and I'm gonna add for the other ones, and we're gonna add the, oops, let me copy, and we're gonna add also the ear, okay, so we know what it's everything our user can understand in the accessibility part, okay? Right now it's displaying the ear, but it won't display in the future. Oh, sorry, I did something wrong. Here it's a spam. So I'm gonna create here a spam class. All right, and here I'm gonna close a spam. Okay, so let me copy and fix all of this that I did. All right, and here's 2020. And the last one is 2021 that we're gonna change, 2021. Like I mentioned, right now it's displaying the ears, but it won't in the future. Now in our T body, we're gonna add 4 TRs. The first 3 are gonna give a class data and the last one a class total. So right now we're working here with the class data, these 3, and the final one will be total, okay? So in here, we're gonna have a TR, class equals data, TR, I'm gonna copy 3 times, 2 times actually, and then the last one, we're gonna change here to total. All right, it won't display anything, but we're gonna add the data right now, probably. So here we have the TR data. So the first TR, we're gonna add a TH element with this message. So here we're gonna have a TH message, where the first one is gonna be loans, and then we're gonna add the spam class equals to description for the other part. Let me do here TH, just to close. So in here we're gonna add this message, all right, because we're gonna display it this way. Okay, right now actually we're not displaying a different way, but we want to do lowers in one part and the description in another one. All right, and then we're gonna add a TD. We're gonna add 3 TD after this TH, and we're gonna give the third TD. So TD, And the third one, we're gonna give a class current, because this means we wanna tell the user in the accessibility part that we're talking about 2010 probably. Here it's 0, here it is 250, and here it's 500. Okay, great, perfect. Let's go to the next part. Now we're gonna do the same for expenses. So we're gonna do exactly what we did in here, okay? But we're gonna do for the next row. So what we're gonna do, here we're gonna add expenses, and this message here, we're gonna add, instead of loans, we're gonna add expenses. And we're gonna change this message to this new one that we just got. And we need to change the values to 200, 300, and 400. Great, okay? And we're gonna do the same thing for the next part again, for the next part that we wanna work. So here, I'm gonna copy again what we did previously. Oops, I just need to copy into the TD. And we're gonna change the data to what we are expecting. So here, instead of loans, we're gonna change to credit, and this will be the message. So here it will be credit, and here we're gonna change the message. Great, let's change the value for the TD, so 50, 50, and 75. 50, 50, and here 75. All right, so we're creating here the structure of our table. In the future, we're gonna work with this style. And now our fourth TR, we're gonna add a TH with a text total liabilities, and we're gonna put liabilities in this part in here. So we're gonna do exactly what we did in, where it is? This part here, what we did in here, okay? So we're gonna copy what we did previously, and we're gonna add in our code. So basically what they want us to do. Here in total, we're gonna change total, and here we're gonna add liability, so our accessibility knows what this means. I think it's liabilities, let's see. Yes, and then we're gonna change to 7,500. Let me change, so 75. Then the other one will be 600 and 475. 600 and 475. Okay, that's pretty much what we have to do. Now we're gonna do the same thing as we just did, but now for the net worth. And here we just have the total if we take a look. So we're gonna have here a caption, net worth. Great. Oops. Oh, sorry. And we need to also add the T head and the T body. Great. T body. Perfect. Let's implement. Great. We passed the test. And now we want to add one TR inside of our T head. And we're going to add 3 THs inside of this TR. With each TH element, so 1 TR, we're going to add 1 TD and 3 TH. So here, TH. We're gonna add a spam. With each here, we're gonna add a spam class equals to SR only. And remember this SR only, we're gonna do in our styles in the future to not display this message, okay? Let me close here the spam. So we're gonna copy and paste 3 times. Right now that we learn how to work with accessibility, we need to continue working with this from now on, okay? And this is pretty much what we have to do. Great. Now we're gonna have in our T body, we're gonna have a TR with class total, and we're gonna do a TH total. Oh, here we're gonna have a TR. Oops. And let's do step by step. And in here we're gonna have this TR will have class total. So here class equals to total. Then we're gonna add a TH where we're gonna have this message, but we're gonna put in here. So spam class. Oops. First, we need to add total, the message. Then we're gonna have a spam class equals to SR only. And again, this is for accessibility. We're gonna add the message net worth. And let's close the spam. Then we're gonna add 3 TDs. Okay, now we're gonna add 3 TDs. Let me just check one thing. We have this TR. And we're gonna add a TH. All right, the TR will be for everything. We have to close here with a TH for the table head. And now we're gonna add 3 TDs. So TD with a class equals to anything, just the last one. So here TD, we're gonna add this minus 171. Let's close TD. The next TD, we're gonna have 136. And the last TD, we're gonna give a class equals to current. Okay, and we're gonna give this value here. Perfect. All right, let's check, and everything working fine. So if we take a look in here, we finished adding all the content. Okay, now we're gonna start working with the style. Now we're gonna work with creating, changing the box sizing of our code. Okay, so here we're gonna use the HTML tag, and we're gonna use this box sizing to border box. It's just one styling that we want for our code. It won't change much, all right? We're just setting this to be the default style of our page. Then we're gonna work with body, and we're gonna set the font family. So all of our code will have the same font family. And here they want us to use the sans serif. All right, here we can see that it changed, and we want one particular color to be the default color, that is this one in hexadecimal. And if you don't remember how to use the hexadecimal, we did one project where we work with colors, so you remember that you have colors in hexadecimal, in HSL, and also in, I forgot the other name, and also adding names and so on. All right, now we're gonna style our SR only class because we want to use this for accessibility, okay, and we want to make this hidden from everything. So we're gonna use this spam class, this sign equals SR only, because this means that all the selector where we have the spam, and the spam includes the SR only, we want to use this style, okay? And where we have the spam SL only, if you've seen here, we have where it is. We have here spam class SR only. We have this in multiple parts of our code, so we want to work with changing this right now.